So here we are, day 5 of the Glamp site build. This is design 245. We've had so many ideas, but this is what we decided to build right now. The idea before this was an A-frame over there by the creek, about 400 feet away from here. But it's gonna take a lot more work. A lot more work to run utilities, to create access, and a little bit scared about flooding. So we started with this. We're really close to access right here. We have our driveway. This is the secondary driveway to the property. So it'd be really easy for people to drive in. We're gonna leave this grass area as the parking area. We have sewer, water, and power all right here within 50 feet away from the Glamp site. And here's what we picked as our first location. It's already fairly flat. It offers decent privacy between our neighbor and our own house. And it gives you really great views. And the afternoon sunset over there, it's really nice. So the idea is that guests will come in here. The 10 by 16 foot shed is being delivered next week. That's gonna go right here between the corners. That's a corner, that's the other corner. And basically we're gonna create a walkway down over here to get into the Glamp site. Now we're gonna build a pretty good fence right here just to create some privacy from the neighbor. We just want the guests to feel privacy, seclusion, and to enjoy the view on the north side, which is the best side of the property. But basically, if you come over here, this will be the entrance. So the idea is to create a wow factor that as soon as you open this outside door into this outside patio, you just are blown away by everything that we have to offer. But once the trailer is removed, you'll have a better view of the creek and the trees down there. But for right now, we're concentrating on making this luxury and lots of amenities. So the idea is to have an outdoor shower in that corner. We may even go all the way to a sauna as well. We're gonna see how it goes, but I think that would be really nice to offer. Outdoor bathtub in the middle. We're gonna put a fire ring somewhere at the bottom of this patio, because that's where there's not gonna be any roof. So that would be nice for the smoke to get out. And then we're also gonna offer an outdoor barbecue with an outdoor table. And basically inside, the idea would be that the inside part would be just for sleeping, but everything else you would do and hang out, you would be out here. The roof is gonna be a clear polycarbonate roof, and the floor is gonna be a nice walkable gravel. Something nice that it's not the super sharp type of rock, but something that looks nice and clean and probably on the lighter side, just to contrast a little bit with the darker wood that we're putting up here. So all this material you see right here and this giant stack is the $75 reclaimed wood that we purchased on Facebook Marketplace. So as you can see, it's kind of dirty. There's some bird poop, a lot of spider webs, a lot of imperfections. Later on, we're gonna give this a quick pressure wash to make it nice and clean. Come back later with the grinder and I'm gonna cut off all these nails. I've been trying to remove them as I go, but sometimes it's easier to just leave them all there and I can hit them all up at the end with the grinder. But the big focus right now is that even though it's all reclaimed materials and they're very imperfect and warped and bent, we want to make sure we maintain the aesthetics by making everything nice and level and plumb, and also everything we're trying to make it match. We're going to make this wall over here, we're going to make it exactly the same over there, so that it gives some type of order to this kind of chaotic pile of material. We don't want it to look bad. We want to make sure it looks finished and with good workmanship.
Yeah?
I want to walk through
I came up with a pretty odd design for the columns, and this is basically, we're trying to use what we have here on this pile. So the only pressure treated lumber that I had were these big round posts. This wood right here is not pressure treated, so I do not want it to be in touch with the ground. So I'm basically putting this down and then building a column right on top. It's been working out pretty good, and it definitely feels very strong. I am gonna add some bigger screws right here to make sure we fight the uplift force, because we're gonna have a pretty good roof right here. The wind is gonna try to pick this up, and we're gonna make sure this doesn't come apart. Pretty girl. Good girl. So 1 week in our first Glamp site build, I was able to make this wall. It matches exactly the other wall as far as the height and as far as the format. So the first one has horizontal metal, horizontal wood. Then the next one is the horizontal metal with the vertical wood. And then the last panel is just vertical metal. And I think it looks pretty good. I'm really happy with it. So I was trying to mix up all the boards with the different colors because I think that looks really nice. And I was able to match the same column design as that side with these two 2x4s joined by the little blocks. And so I was able to connect this to the round log that's pressure treated. And basically every hole has about 2 bags of concrete. So that was pretty cheap. So really everything you see here has been built so far with the pile of wood that was $75, $50 of concrete bags, and some nails and screws. So really all of this were still under $200. Oh, hey there. Cloudy day, but still a beautiful day to enjoy the bathtub and the beautiful view. So here's where we started eating into the budget quite a bit. This bathtub was $250. It's really a water trough to have the horses drink water and whatever. But we bought it at Tractor Supply and I think it looks awesome. This is the 6-foot model, which is already huge. It's 170 gallon capacity. You could buy the 8-foot bathtub or water trough, but that one was way too big and I think it would need a massive amount of hot water to keep it warm. So we went with this model. The plan is to put it right here in the center, have your cold and hot water spigots right here, and we're probably gonna sink it into the ground a little bit so it doesn't stick out of the ground too much. This is 2 feet tall, so I think it'd be nice if it's a little bit further down into the ground.
So let's rewind and we'll show you our exact setup for our first glamping site. So if you come with me, you can see the corners. This corner, well, first I'll explain. This is going to be a little tiny house shed for our guests. And you can see the corners set up. This corner where I'm standing currently will be a little like water closet bathroom. Then right in the middle, we're gonna have a big, beautiful, comfy bed that looks out to the views. And over here is going to be the kitchenette. This area will be like a little lounge space, like a little TV with a few comfy chairs. Then we're gonna have double doors where the guests can see out and enjoy the view when all of this wood and everything is out of the way. We're gonna do an incredible outdoor shower right here. That's very private for the guests, so no one will be able to see, but it'll be a nice hot shower and you can enjoy the view and the birds. And we've heard that those are amazing from other guests. Then we're gonna change these chairs out and we're gonna have like really comfy lounge chairs and the fire pit over here in this corner. This won't have a roof cover since we're doing a fire pit right over here so that the smoke can clear, but we also will have a dining space for guests, but it will be covered.
So right here is a start of what I want to build. This is going to be like a retention wall to hold all the gravel, and then right here we need to build a curb again to hold the gravel and keep it from going in the grass. And then right there, those windows, the plan is to stand them up and actually have these windows right here. And most likely we're gonna put a huge curtain rod or a steel line with a curtain that if you want to, you can close off this completely and then you're absolutely here by yourself, totally private. As far as the improvements around the land, I started yesterday removing the T-post. So T-post is what holds typically the cattle fans or an electrified fence. So I've already removed about 30 posts. We have a long way to go. They take a long time. It's amazing how difficult they are to get out, even in this type of ground that is very, very good dirt with no rock. They're still very difficult to get out. That's what we'll be doing later today. Another big improvement to make is we want to put some cedar fencing on this side of our property and then between the Glamp site and our own house. Again, just to provide privacy. We want people from the very beginning, as soon as they drive in, we want them to feel that they're here by themselves. with help if they need it close by, but they can be here secluded doing whatever they want. So today's beautiful. It's cloudy, it's breezy, it's not nearly as hot as other days. So we're gonna take advantage of that, and we're gonna spend some time in the middle of the field removing the 50 or so T-posts. It'll be easier with 2 people. I was doing it by myself yesterday and it just takes a lot of time. If the rain comes or if we get too tired, we're probably gonna head inside the barn. I'm really excited. There's a cool project to do there. We need to remove a bunch of old wood that was there for the tobacco barn that was who knows how many years ago. But we're gonna reuse some of that wood up to make this roof right here. So that'll be kind of a fun project. I think it will give the barn itself a bigger look, and then it will help us get some more reclaimed materials for our Glamp site. So on talking about the dump and trash topic, I found this table. It's a folding table. It was really in bad shape. The tabletop was completely falling apart, but the metal was good. So I brought it home and I put this 2x4s from the huge pile of wood, and I built myself a table saw for the big miter saw, because it's much easier to cut on an elevated platform than to cut on the floor all day. So there it is. I have this little wood right here that keeps it at the same height, so it makes it a lot easier to cut all this wood or whatever I need to do. And then I can easily, when it starts raining, basically twice a day, I put the saw back in the trailer and I leave this outside, and eventually if I need to move the trailer, I can unfold the table and take it with me somewhere else. Okay, let's see how many posts we can get out in 30 minutes. We got Bob Marley playing, we got some coffee close by. Sadie's running around chasing whatever she can.
Yep.
So
time for a time lapse.
okay, so this morning we got the fence done. It's gone. It looks so much better already.
It looks amazing.
We went to the dump, we took some trash, we took some barbed wire, we grabbed some lunch, and now we're ready to jump into the barn and do some work in there. So let me show you. Okay, here's the barn. It's about 2,500 square feet, I think. But basically this barn was built somewhere in the 1930s, 1940s. But the plan is to remove all these extra poles right here. From what I understand, these were for drying the tobacco leaves. At this point, this was a tomato farm and then later a tobacco farm. So we're gonna remove all those extra posts because they're secondary, they're not structural. I would love to use all that to build the roof on the glamping side. And at the same time, it will make this barn look even bigger. Originally, the posts for this barn were all cedar posts, and it's like this one right here. So this post is probably 100 years old now. At some point, it looks like they jacked up the entire building and they put it on top of concrete footings. For some reason, there's one leg that's not. That leg over there is still sitting on the dirt, and you can tell there's a pretty big dip in the roof. So someday I like to probably put a 6-ton jack that I have for cars, see if I can jack it up and throw a concrete pillar underneath. But this, it's also not original post. At some point it was added on. You can tell it's on top of concrete. It's obviously lumber that's been cut by a saw, not just a log like the other ones. But then all this horizontal post right there, I think those are maple from what somebody told me. That's where the tobacco leaves would hang, and that's what today we want to start removing. They're all nailed in, so the plan is to get up there with a ladder, smack them out, and bring them all down and just have all that lumber for future use.
So behind me you can see that there are like horse corrals. Eventually we want to get rid of those and then clean up all the manure and horse poop that's all in there, and put gravel floor and make this all even and beautiful and add string lights. And so we're hoping we'll get that done soon. And you can see behind me there's a lot of boards. That room is actually locked up and we're using that as storage for now, which is actually really nice, to keep a lot of our tools and just things that we need to store away for winter or anything like that. So we're also going to be removing the hay eventually as well. You can see there's a big pile right here, and take down all of this and use the wood for something really cool. But we want it to be an open space where we can hang out as a family and do game nights or just hang out here And even in a rainstorm, we can enjoy the beautiful scenery outside and be covered.
That's not a good place for that, yeah?
We're okay, thank you. Good job, buddy. You're so sweet. Whoa, baby, 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 baby. That was on camera too. Yikes.
I was scared they were going to hit the car.
Oh, of course I was scared.
But then it hit me.
It did?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Okay, that was a lot of work, but I'm so glad. It's been a great day, very productive day. We took a bunch of this wood down. We're stacking it all for later since we're gonna have to move it over there to the Glamp site. But today was a solid day in the barn. It looks so much taller and cleaner and bigger in here. So we can't wait for the future vision of this barn. We think it could be something really, really amazing. We were able to get the mid-level posts. They're still a level really high up. My ladder is not tall enough. Not sure how we're gonna get up there. Maybe I need just a taller ladder, but we'll see. I mean, it's really high. It's over 20 feet tall. So we'll see how to get up there. They have nails on them, so it's not a matter of just pushing them over. You actually have to go up there or figure a way to get them loose. I managed to get this column loose, so maybe I can still wiggle in around this column and kind of loosen up everything up there, but that sounds kind of shady. So we'll see how to figure that out later. But today was a solid day in the barn. Now the last thing to show this week as far as progress is finding the septic line, because it would be really easy to run a sewer line from the new toilet we're gonna offer to the guest and connect it to our own sewer line for our house. So I'll show you what I had to do to find it. As you can tell, it's starting to get really noisy here. It's 8 p.m. right now, and as soon as the sun goes down, all the frogs and cicadas, or not sure what they are, they go crazy at night, so it gets very loud at night. But anyways, there's our house. It's a 1994 double wide. The past owner has been here for 13 years, and he said he never knew where the septic tank was, which is kind of suspicious. Because here in Tennessee, in this area where we're at, you can do whatever you want with the land, but you do need a licensed professional to install your septic. I'm sure that was the law back in 1994 as well. So I'm not sure how there's no history or permits for this septic tank, and there's no plan, so nobody knows where it is. But by gravity, I could figure out that it was somewhere down in this location where I'm standing. So basically, I started digging, trying to find the pipe, and I finally found it, but it wasn't that easy. So from looking under the house, I had a rough idea of where the sewer line went out. So I came down here thinking that this is the best way for the sewer line to come down. And I started trenching a pretty deep trench, to about 2 feet deep or so, because that's the frost line here in this area of Tennessee. So that's how far the pipe should be. Well, I didn't find anything other than a couple of cables. So I went up to the very top and I dug over here. And I did find the white pipe, which is a 6-inch pipe, and just underneath of it there's another pipe which has the electrical, the main electrical that runs to the house. So I had to be very careful. So once I knew that that pipe is pointing down, I thought, okay, for sure it has to be down there. So I came back, did some more digging, and nothing. So I went midpoint and I was able to dig and guess, and I did find the pipe with another random cable. So then I came down here and I found the pipe right there as well. So I'm thinking, great, it's just right there, but it's not. At some area right here there's an angle and it turns slightly, probably 22 degrees, and that's where the pipe was. So I basically dug this trench from here all the way that way, 2 feet deep or 3 feet deep, and I just missed it by 2 inches. So that was a little bit aggravating. I was digging out here for 3 hours. It was about 90 degrees outside, 90% humidity. It was hot, but well, I was happy I found it. It should be a pretty easy connection from the toilet location. It's gonna be over there. I have a nice slope, and I dug a few more holes on the other side of the fence. So I still don't know where the exact septic tank and the septic lines are, the leach field. I think I should keep digging tomorrow a little bit more and find out exactly, because if in the future we have any trouble and we need a truck to come and pump it out, I think we should know where it is so we don't have to be messing around. Now, the view that the guests are gonna have when the sun goes down. There's not a lot of clouds right now, so I don't think today is the best view ever, but it is pretty nice. But that is it for this week's progress video. So next week we'll have another update and see how far along we get. We're excited to get the shed. We're excited to set the columns, maybe the polycarbonate roof also this week. A lot of work to do, but we're excited. Chelsea's putting the kids down right now. So if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of our progress. So if you have any ideas, share with us. We'd love to know. Have a good one. See you next week.
We are Andres and Chelsea. We uprooted our lives from Arizona to Eastern Tennessee.
We sold our long-term rentals and are putting everything on the line to start our dream glamping business.
Join us each week as our family navigates this big new adventure, and we share everything we learn so you can also build a successful glamping business.